You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome in, everybody, to Sim Racing Media. Tonight, the drivers of the Western States Racing League take on Iowa. I'm Mike Timoni in the booth. Joined with me, as usual, is my broadcast partner, Alan. Alan, man, how's it going?
It's going good. I'm excited to be here tonight, and we got 140 laps here. Good, hard racing action from this awesome league here well, we're live from Newton, Iowa. Just a little bit north of Knoxville Speedway, the iconic Knoxville Raceway, and we're gonna have a lot of fun here. Rusty Wallace designed this track, wanted it the perfect racetrack for these guys, and once they raise the track temperature, these trucks will slide around. But nonetheless, we're getting ready to get on the grid here, and well, I should expect no less as a lot of these guys are here out for vengeance from last week, and I expect that FBR contingent to be up front as usual.
Yeah, last week, speaking of the FBR Motorsports team, Chris Sumard finished first, Chad Simpson second, Lyle Swearingen back in third with JTW fourth, Christian Bishop fifth. So a very strong performance there. Chris Sumard leading 46 of the 64 laps last week, which is going to help him in the points. But everybody knows the points don't matter quite yet till they start to get to those drop weeks. Then all of a sudden everything will get switched on its head. Right now, Lyle Swearingen and Chad Simpson are the fastest on the track. We'll go ahead and go down track side, see if we can see anybody out on the track. Looks like Ryan Steele's making his qualifying bid. Babs joining us in the chat as always.
Yeah, it's fun when Babs comes in here. Greetings, Babs, from the 63051. And speaking of Babs, I know there's a few Blues fans in here. Unfortunately, the winning streak starts at 12.
Well, that's not too bad. I know last week when we were talking about the baseball issues, apparently the bats decided to work for Boston and Colorado as they put up like 18 runs. Crazy. Couldn't get out of their own way. The first, 8 games only had like 11 total runs scored, and then they scored 18 in one game.
Anyway. Here we go.
Anyway.
Well, hey, we did win against the Pirates, so today 5-4. Go Cards.
Ryan Steele with a 23.96.
Yeah, right now Lyle Swearingen sits at the top of the pile with a 23.51. So that's the time you got to beat if you want to be on the bowl.
Yeah, and it doesn't get any easier. We went road racing at Lime Rock Park, then we went to Pocono last week, Iowa this week, and then next week we're at Rockingham.
Ooh, the Rock, Thunder Alley. Not Thunder Valley, that's Bristol, but Thunder Alley.
There's up his 23.96 there. Goes 13th quickest. See, looks like we have the 05 machine trying to get his lap done. He's got about 20 seconds to get to the start-finish line here. Should be able 15. To do that. Oh, no. He won't. Because that was just his outlap.
Unless you can teleport yourself around to the start-finish line.
Jump on over to the race session. We'll see if we can head down and take a quick look here at the drivers. It's not. Guess we'll go there. Lyle Swearingen on the pole with a 23.505. Chad Simpson's going to start to his outside. JTW back in third with Christian Bishop. Row 3 is Wayne Hutchinson and Chris Simard. Bentley Glazer and Dennis Pousson roll off in row 4. Row 5, Jacob Jensen and Dan Brazington. Bob Beltrami and Brian Barnes roll off in row number 6. Row 7 is Butch Davis and Ryan Steele. We got James Campbell and Ron Holyfield back in row number 8. Row 9 is Julian Ricci and Andy Warwick. Wayne Fleet and Dustin Burns going to roll off in row number 10. Starting 21st is David Weaver and Barry Phil. Todd Miles and Scott Kukas in row 12. Row 13, Chad Stearns and Keith Hellman. Then I believe there's going to be a couple more left. Yep, William Fletcher and Earl Weaver are going to make up the field of 28 drivers who are going to take part this evening.
Yeah, these guys are going to get ready to get going here. As we got 140 laps, Mike, this is going to be a barn burner. Or as I would say, it's going to be an absolute banger here. Round 13 of season 52. I'm ready to get going here. And, it's almost time.
Yeah, they're getting closer. There they go off of pit lane.
What about JTW in that 50 in a double nickel Toyota, putting it on the inside of the second row there in third position?
Yeah, he's been pretty quick. Just hasn't quite had the luck to get to the front. We'll see what he can do tonight. Take a quick look here at the track temp. Track temperature almost 100 degrees. Well, I thought the pace truck was going to make that turn. It did not. So ambient air is only 74, so it should cool down a little bit as the race drives on.
As I say, there's one number I always look at here in the Midwest. That's that humidity. 56% humidity. It's a steamy one here in the fans. I think at 56% humidity, Mike, you would be a fish out of water.
Yeah, a little bit.
They call it oxygen.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Pace truck makes that left-hand turn. Lyle Swearingen going to lead him on down to that Geico restart zone. We are down and away. Green flag racing here in the Western States Racing League from Iowa Speedway.
Yeah, Lyle Swearingen going to get that hole shot, and he's going to bring Chad Simpson right along with him as they're going to fan out for 3 wide coming on the back straightaway. And then to turn number 3, this track is only going to get looser, and these trucks are only going to slide around. You know, as Kristen Bishop starts to take a little slide, and that's what makes this track so fun and unique.
James Campbell down through the infield.
No need to pay for landscaping. He'll do it for you.
Still battling side by side. Swearingen on the inside, Chip Simpson on the outside. 23.79, fastest lap of the race so far. Simpson with a little bit of a run here.
So far, this is the these guys are playing nice. Back there a little bit deeper into the field. Andy Warwick showing crashed on the live timing. Now, Chris Samard and Wayne Hutchinson getting side by side there a little bit, duking it out.
And JTW went to the high side. Christian Bishop down to the bottom. Going to get a little run off of the corner. Should slide up and clear.
You know, to me, this seems like an oversized Richmond, if you will, with a few more bumps. But other than that, I mean, the track really races a lot like Richmond to me.
Dan Brazington had a little run in with the wall too.
Everybody's single filed out, playing nice with each other, trying to feel out their trucks, and that's what they have.
Everybody's single filed out. Nobody really making any moves here.
Yeah, everybody just kind of minding their P's and Q's. Here is that track temperature right around that 96-degree mark. I mean, it's only going to either go up or come down, if you will. Chad Simpson, Lyle Swearingen continue to lead us back 10 laps in. We are, 100 away? 130?
130, your math is working.
But hey, look, there's hope for me after all.
Then is Fuson making a pass on Wayne Hutchinson?
Look, I'm the guy in class that always sat there and made, when we had the test. Oh, I'll just mark C for everything. Get 50% chance of getting it right.
Yeah, it looks like Brazenton called it a night. Put it on the hauler.
Well, look, someone's got to win the race to the beer stand. Might as well be Dan.
Bishop kind of backed up a little bit, and now he is going to work up to second, going to roll that high line.
It's just so smooth. It's just so smooth right now. We're 13 laps in. No one's really pulled away. Lyle Swearingen working on the inside. And it looks like Jacob Jensen thinking about making it 3 wide, but thinks better of it.
Yeah, Jacob Jensen made pretty quick work through the field so far, up 5 spots. The driver who is on the move a little bit more is Butch Davis in that chromed out 43 Toyota there. But he is not the biggest mover of the race. The biggest mover of the race is Chad Stearns, who wasn't able to get that qualifying lap in, and 15 laps in, he's up 9 spots running P16 right now.
Yeah, a lot of these guys minding their PDQs. Chad Stearns right there. Didn't really get a qualifying time in, but he'll be there at the end.
The Yeety's machine is rolling out.
Yeet! It's yeeting its way to the front. You know what's the way that the lawsuits are working with Lamar Jackson and Dale Jr. Christian Bishop might want to be careful. Next thing you know, we hear
that is so dumb.
Well, look, they're not even the same number 8. That's a different one.
Well, that's why Dale Jr. just released the trademark to the old number 8 they were using, because they wanted the stylized one anyway, so it doesn't matter. Side by side, Jensen and Bishop.
When you're okay, here, Lamar Jackson wins the Allen Experience Bonehead Move of the Race Award. There, I said it. This is Christian Bishop underneath Jacob Jensen. This is a battle for second position. As door bumper not so clear. Oh, they make contact. Lyle Swearingen involved that we are under caution.
Wow.
They kept it going. Hank Hill almost got a piece of it.
take a quick look here, see what happened.
Oh no! It almost looked like Kristen Bishop was going to yeet that truck into the wall.
Take a look here on board Swearingen.
Oh, boy.
Then we'll jump on to JTW and take a look from what he saw. See the Bubba Wallace point of view here. All but 5 drivers come down pit lane.
And that was the back half of the field, too. "21 laps into the history books here as we are under caution for the first time tonight here in Iowa. And I believe the sun's going to start to go down here momentarily. There's a name that we haven't seen here in a couple weeks in the 87 truck. Bentley Glazer currently running 11th right now. You can catch Bentley Glazer and a host of others on Sunday nights as they race with the Icon Cup Series. Bentley Glazer's been holding his own over there, looking to put a full night together, and once he does that, I think there'll be a force to be reckoned with.
So looks like we have 2 drivers that wound up staying out. Brian Barnes and Ryan Steele. The other drivers that were out decided to let everybody else make their pit stops and come down and just go ahead and take that penalty, start at the tail end of the longest line, and be out of the way.
Yeah, there you go.
Doesn't surprise me, though, that Barnes and Steele decided to stay out.
A lot of things don't surprise me.
Like snow in July.
Correct. Only where you live.
Back green flag racing here. Brian Barnes leads him through the start-finish line. Chad Simpson able to stay right with him. He's going to get up for second. Jacob Jensen up for third. And Chad Simpson going on for the lead.
We're almost 3 wide back there in the middle. Chad Simpson taking the lead over Jacob Jensen. Chris Samar goes around. He gets loose. He's going to do some landscaping. Free landscaping, that is.
Yeah, I got loose and able to save it, though, so that was pretty good save there. Oh, hard into the wall. Looked like, no, it was just in front there. Looked like it might have been Bentley Glazer or Holyfield touching that outside wall. Ryan Steele started on the front row and is already back to 8th position. Brian Barnes able to hang on. He's running P6 now as Fuson goes by.
Look at that line that Bob Beltrami, the Beltrami salami. Number 14 is running right now. He's right up there in the top 6. Looking under Dennis Tucson for a little bit more. Might even get after that 2-for-1 special.
Yeah, this is a track that's very dangerous to try that 3-wide move. Because you can take that air off and wind up loose and spin around just like you saw Christian Bishop start to do.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, there's Christian Bishop in that number 26. Then the Yeet machine.
These guys are still 2 and 3 wide back here. Just outside the top 10. Ryan Steele, Justin T. Wilkinson, Julian Ricci, Wayne Hutchinson, and Chad Stearns up 12 spots. Lyle Swearingen stuck back here too after spending, I was going to say spending extended time on pit lane, but he really didn't. Looks like he might not have had too much damage on that 68 Toyota.
Yeah, definitely not taking extended time on pit road or extended stay at Holiday Inn.
Brian Steele looks like those tires are just gone. As Brian Barnes is just in front of him, looks like Julian Ricci is going to try and go by on the bottom, almost 3 wide with Swearingen getting through on the very bottom.
Yeah, look at that one car, Julian Ricci, and as he slides up in front of that, it looks like the 12 truck there, Brian Steele. We're getting there.
And Ricci's running a fairly good race here. Goes down to the inside, going to press Brian Barnes. So tires are pretty important as everybody came down on lap 21. And here we are, you know, about 12 laps later, and they are moving through the field as Barnes and Steele are going backwards in a hurry. Up front, though, we have a little bit of a runaway now as Jacob Jensen is out to the lead.
Yeah, there's the eyeball test. About a second interval is what you get from Jacob Jensen back to Chad Simpson. And guess who's up there, up 10 spots? The other FBR contingent driver, and that's Butch Davis.
Butch Davis making his way through.
And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the share button. Get those bells ringing so you're notified every time that Sim Racing Media and the WSRL come on the air.
See if we can take a look here, see how Jensen was able to get by real quick. I can see the pass for the lead down on the inside. Runs deeper into the corner, is going to get that drive off, and that is going to be the pass for the lead here as he slides up in front. And then he just sets sail. Tight battle back here. Barry Phil and Ron Holyfield. Back and forth they go.
This is a fun battle to watch here with Barry Phil and Ron Holyfield. And here, oh, we just had a car go down to the, okay, no harm, no foul.
I'm not sure.
Well, we
what-
got 101. As I say, we got 101 laps left.
I'm not sure what happened to Julian Ricci, but he is on pit road.
Looks like he may be out.
Looks like he entered pit lane a couple times there. Jacob Jensen leading the race by over a second and a half. Bob Beltrami looking to make some headway on that high line. Bentley Glazer challenging on the bottom, as is JTW. 3 wide coming towards the backstretch. Everybody tightens up a little bit. JTW slides in behind Beltrami.
Yeah, I think that high line's a money line right there. If you know how to use it and you can be faster on here. This track is built for long run speed.
Yeah, if you don't get those cautions, you can have that right setup. I mean, you're just gonna be awesome here. 3 wide. Glazer, JTW, and Beltrami.
I will tell you this, Mike, well, we got a lull in the action here. If you're not got any plans and you're going to be in the neighborhood of Highland, Illinois, come check us out as we're going to cover the Lucky 30 over at Highland Speedway on Saturday, April 12th.
Todd Miles, Holyfield, and Chris Sumard was able to get by. Looking to get that Kingsford machine up past Barry Phil here. So they draft down the backstretch.
Is Hank Hill still on the side of that truck?
Oh, yes.
Yep, there he is.
Him and his charcoal and charcoal accessories.
Mike, did you watch a lot of Beavis and Butthead growing up?
I wouldn't say a lot, no. Enough.
I mean, that was comedic genius back in our day.
I mean, what else are you going to watch on MTV?
Music videos?
I really could care less about that stuff.
I mean, look, Road Rules,
Yeah, okay.
The
maybe.
Real World.
I never really got into that one. You know, the first real shows like that. Reality series, as it were. Scott Kukas was a little slow down on the bottom. Dustin Burns trying to get by. Wayne Fleet's on pit lane, spending an extended amount of time. Looks like he might have been the driver that went into that inside wall on the backstretch. JTW and Christian Bishop battling here for 5th.
This is amazing. Only one caution for cause here tonight. JTW battling for a top 5 spot, closing in ever so slightly on Dennis Fuson.
And now Glazer goes to the inside of Bishop. Still there.
door bumper not so clear. Now he's clear.
Yeah, now switch back to another 3-truck battle. Stern, Swearingen, and Hutchinson. Dogbear 17 Toyota staying up on that high line, going to give Stearns the bottom. Swearingen going to stay about car length up off of the bottom line there as he's going to slide up behind Hutchinson.
It's got Stearns up 16 spots from where he started at. And, well, he's going to be a factor by the end of this race.
Yeah, definitely. He seems like he has a pretty fast Toyota machine there. Just wasn't able to get that qualifying lap in. Waited a little bit too long, but doesn't seem to be hurting him at all as we are 55 laps in and he's up 16 spots inside the top 10. Another driver that didn't have a great qualifying effort, but is going to blind everybody on the track is that 43 Toyota of Butch Davis. Up 10 spots, running P3 now.
He's blinding me. No, I love the Chrome SCP. You know, kind of doing a throwback every week to the King. Oh, man. There's just something about Petty Blue driving around a racetrack.
Looks like Campbell is the only driver. I'm gonna say the only, yeah. Is the only driver a lap down at the moment. Keith Kelman is getting reeled in here. He's about 22 seconds behind the leader. You can see him out this front windshield here.
Oh. Now, when Jacob Jensen gets to the lap cars, what does he do with the lap cars? Does Keith Kalman politely get out of his way and say, you know what, I'm not racing for anything, you go ahead and take it, or is he just make it hard on him?
Well, see, the problem is if you go up here to where Keith Kelman is he's got Dustin Burns just in front of him, and they are racing for position. So that makes it a little bit tricky. If it's just a single car, it's not that big a deal. You know, if he was farther ahead, if he passes you, you know you're going to be sitting there in the lucky dog spot. But right now, once Jensen passes you, you know that more likely than not, he's going to be able to pass that 04 of Dustin Burns. So you're gonna have to try and battle for that position so you don't lose that lucky dog spot. But up front here, it looks like we have Bentley Glazer getting by Dennis Fuson. Going to be inside the top 5 for the first time tonight.
Yeah, Bentley Glazer passing Dennis Fuson for that 5th spot. JTW 1 spot to the negative where he started at. Butch Davis, though, 10 spots in. And right now, Chad Stearns trying to be the show in that number 7 spot.
Side-by-side action back here as well with Swearingen and Hutchinson.
Looks like another driver has fun meter pegged, and that's Wayne Fleet in the number 6 truck.
Paul Beltrami's
60.
losing some ground.
That gap is getting a little bit wider between him and that number 13 truck.
Yeah, and like I said, if you're Keith Kelman, he just went by, and you need to be battling there with Dustin Burns to try and get that lucky dog spot if a caution were to come out. But as these guys have kind of single filed out, we're going to step aside here. You won't miss anything. We'll go side by side, and we'll be right back after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Didn't miss anything as we're 3 wide. Swearingen down on the bottom, Hutchinson in the middle, and the lapped car of James Campbell up on the high side. One thing to note is Brian Barnes and Ryan Steele both came down and completed their pit stop here under green flag after not stopping in the first caution we had earlier. So basically split the race in half. Everybody else is going to have to come down and pit at some point as well. We'll see if Barnes and Steele made the right call, saving some fuel and going to make it to the end of the race here.
I imagine they did here lap 78, 77 laps in the history books, and this one's going to go by quickly. You know, Mike, as broadcasters, you know, we take commercial breaks, kind of catch our breaths, but I mean, the racing's just been so good here. One caution, you know, back in lap 2, and these guys have been playing nice ever since.
Yeah, a couple incidents where they might have been a caution at some other tracks, but they were able to save it and keep rolling.
I believe this time's going to be about halfway.
80 laps in the books.
I think my math is mathing. I'm not for sure.
Actually, it kind of sounds like there's a couple other drivers that are coming down pit lane now. I guess with the racing being green here, it's kind of maybe flip the strategy a little bit as you see Ryan Steele working his way to the back bumper there of the race leader, going to try and get his lap back the hard way.
Well, just as you say that, Bob Beltrami and Wayne Hutchinson come on down pit road to get their services. And then Bentley Glazer and Chad Stern are going to follow suit.
That is one of the... Whoa, Jensen got loose. Almost sideways there. He was able to save it. But that is one thing that always made a hard decision for me, is if you wind up going down multiple laps at a short track like this, you're going to leave yourself open for, if the drivers run long and there's that caution when somebody gets those fresh tires, you're going to get trapped a couple laps down if you pit early. So it's one of those double-edged sword type things where you kind of calculate where you need to be and come down pit lane and go ahead and make that stop. But if a caution were to come out, it basically junks your whole day.
Yeah, you're 100% correct there, Mike. And, you know, here we are, 83 laps in, and we got wholesale pit stops taking place. And that's one thing we're used to seeing with this racing, with this type of racing here, is the green flag pit stop. So I would suspected nothing different is what I'm trying to say here. Because we got 4 cars on the lead lap.
On board here with Chad Simpson. I mean, I think he's doing the right thing. It might come back to bite him a little bit later because the lap times are almost 2-second difference between the laps he's running and the drivers on fresher tires. But at the same time, if something were to happen and that caution were to come out, you're going to be sitting fairly pretty here.
You know, right now, Chad Simpson sitting high, wide, and handsome up there in the lead, and that number 42 truck driving for the FBR contingency. With, you know, with a little over, 35 to go?
More than that.
Give or take? Huh?
More than that. More like 50. 53.
Oh. Okay. Look, we're doing sinless math here. Come on. It's late. It's late. Not for you. For me, it's late.
I'll say it's not even 10 o'clock here.
It is 10:08 here in the greatest city in the heartland. It's kind of like the fuel strategy. I don't even know why I try.
Yeah. You have Chad Simpson and Butch Davis both staying out. Dennis Fuson is running third right now as JTW makes his way down to make his pit stop. Butch Davis in. Chad Simpson says, "You do you, and I'm going to stay out here."
Well, I will tell you this is we got one showing crash, and that's Berryville. We see smoke, but we don't see fire. I'm getting ready to start up the construction project on the Tony Trapasso Memorial Studio here just out to St. Louis. So we're getting ready to crank that full speed ahead.
See what happened here. Yep. Fresh tires. Ready to go.
Well, that's one way to burn them in.
Nope, Chad Simpson came down. Dennis Fuson going to be making his pit stop as slows down and gets it onto this little bit tricky pit lane here.
Well, there he is. Here's the show, Jacob Jensen.
And Jacob Jensen's going to cycle through and back to the lead.
Now, when he does, he's going to have one huge lead.
Yeah, he's got a 4-second lead right now over Bentley Glazer back here in that 87 Chevy. Chad Stearns up 22 spots, running P3 now. He is trying to get by the lapped car of Weaver. And then Chad Simpson came down, made his pit stop, came out P4, but he is 9.5 seconds back of Jacob Jensen, and he's got a rearview mirror full of Justin T. Wilkinson.
You know, JTW is tricky on his own, and if you add him being dangerous in there, that, I mean, it's not gonna end well.
A little bit of racing action on track, and it looks like it's going to be back here just outside the top 10. Brian Barnes, Christian Bishop battling for 10th position here. And just in front of them is Chris Simard. Simard started the race kind of back, not terrible, but then he had a little spin and wound up saving it, did a little landscaping, but has fought through it and is running P9 now.
Does he sell landscaping and landscaping accessories?
It's not propane.
Oh, call it what you will.
Ryan Steele made his pit stop, came out in P7, but now he has fallen back a couple spots here as Simard goes by. He's still inside the top 10, so net positive day right now for Ryan Steele. He's up 5 spots.
Yeah, I like Ryan Steele's run right now, currently in 9th position. We are nearing the century mark of this race.
Like Klaus Swearingen's trying to get by Barnes, and he'll do just that. Barnes is now going to have Hutchinson behind him. Hutchinson looking to get that dog bear 17 Toyota rolling down on the bottom side. Scott Kukas lap down, trying to just maintain his position there.
And that's one way to look at it.
Still over a 5.5-second lead.
I was going to say 41 laps to go here from Iowa. I mean, it's just amazing. One caution this whole race. And we knew this one was going to be a banger, but who would have thought that if you had Jacob Jensen on your bingo card leading with over 5.5 seconds with 40 laps to go.
Yeah, that is just, it is crazy the way that worked. Like Brian Barnes.
I think he's playing the long game.
He was battling there with Fuson for a little while and then just kind of gave in a little bit. Beltrami getting passed by Chris Simard. Ooh, Bishop got a little loose there coming out of 2.
That is one of my favorite cameras, Mike. That back straightaway to see that. Look, sim racing media does not pay workman's comp. I don't know what to tell you about the camera guy, but we stuck him out there. He did voluntarily. Think about it like this, Mike. If you stuck the camera guy out there, you know how many OSHA laws we would break?
I don't know. Probably just gave Dave some whiskey and sent him out there. He'd do it.
Dave would probably do it sober. What are you talking about?
Dennis Fuson with a decent run here, trying to battle back to get inside that top 10, running P11 now. Anybody else really battling for position out on track? Not terribly. Chad Stearns trying to get by a lap truck there. There's JTW behind him and Chad Simpson in front of him. Chad Simpson trying to battle Bentley Glazer to get up into second place here.
Yeah, we are lap 109, a lap 109 of 140 scheduled to be run here today, and we have 108 in the history books. But I mean, think about Jacob Jensen just putting it on the field right now, and just it's what we like to call walking the dog.
Chad Stearns, JTW battling back and forth. Stearns running P4 now, up 21 positions after not being able to put down a qualifying lap. JTW trying to pressure him on the bottom side.
JTW, Justin T. Wilkerson on the inside, battling Chad Stearns. Bentley Glazer just ahead of him, trying to make a 3-horse race. But here comes Butch Davis trying to make a 3-horse race out of this one. As JTW
got
Chatsburg
loose.
touch. Oh, they touched.
Oh, they definitely have a little contact there.
Well, they made contact. $112 laps in the history books. We are nearing the end of this one, and that's when things are going to start getting really, really racy.
They're already racy. Butch Davis trying to make it 3 wide. Then thought better of it, ducked behind Wilkinson. Now he's going to try and just tag along here for a little bit, it looks like. Check the gap here on the leader. It is going down in a hurry. Chad Simpson has 8-lap fresher tires, and he is making them work. That time by, he was 0.4 faster than the leader. And now the gap is down to 4 seconds at the moment. We'll see if he's going to be able to reel him in or if it is going to be all Jacob Jensen today.
I think it's going to be all Jacob Jensen all day long. Chad Simpson, well, for Chad, the sands of the hourglass is starting to run out.
It looks like that gap's almost stabilized now, but they are able to see each other, and now Jensen's going to hit some lap traffic.
Now that could play into the hands of Chad Simpson, because what these lap trucks are going to do is they're going to hold up Jacob Jensen just enough, and you're going to start to see that interval just creep down, creep down ever so slightly.
These two just can't get away from each other, Stearns and Wilkinson. And Butch Davis just wants one of them to pass so he can try and fall in line and figure out what he can do to get back up here.
As I said, it's almost like they have a magnet on each other's trucks.
Ryan Steele trying to get by Christian Bishop, or Christian Bishop trying to get by Ryan Steele. Back and forth they go. Lyle Swearingen trying to get back inside the top 10.
We have just 21 laps to go here. See, look, my math is mathing.
Looks like it.
For once. Look, I Steve Harvey'd the field at least once already this week.
Bishop into the wall. Going to allow Steele to make the pass. That gap is now almost 3 seconds. Simpson was 0.2 quicker that time.
I mean, if you look at the times between Simpson and Jensen, it's almost like Chad Simpson's just being super smooth, and well, you see that interval just shrinking, like the well, it's running out like the sand of the hourglass.
Under 3 seconds for the first time in quite a while. I don't know that he's going to have enough time to get there, but if he gets there, it's going to be difficult to pass. Jensen has that line mapped out, and he looks to be maybe saving his tires a little bit as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And here comes Jacob Jensen doing what he does all night, making easy work out of these lap trucks. It looks like Brian Barnes is the next victim that will fall into the clutches of Jacob Jensen, as Brian Barnes caught a little bit of the wall there. It's almost like he got a little nervous.
Yeah, maybe he was trying to stay out of the way a little bit. Didn't know where Jensen was going to run. But that definitely is helping Simpson here. Simpson's now under 2.5 seconds back from Jensen. Like Lyle Swearingen's going to try and make a pass here on Christian Bishop. I was going to. I don't know that he's been able to. He just got there and just can't quite get by. We've seen it happen time and time again, though.
Yeah, absolutely, 127 laps out of 140 to be run here. We are nearing the end here, and Lyle Swearingen 11 spots behind where he wanted to be.
You know, we said lap traffic's going to play a role. It really did. It just slowed down Jacob Jensen a bunch there as he was trying to deal with those lap trucks. Chad Simpson was able to get by a couple of them, and now that gap is down under 2 seconds with just over 10 laps to go here from Iowa.
Well, by my count, but close. I have a hard time seeing Chad Simpson. I mean, I think he's going to get there, but I think the stands of the hourglasses are definitely running out for Chad Simpson. Well, Chad Simpson needs to throw a Hail Mary pretty soon.
Well, now Simpson's dealing with the same lap trucks that slowed down Jensen. Jensen's been able to get clear now, and he pretty much has clear sailing in front of him. So it's all going to be a matter of how quick Chad Simpson can get by these lap trucks. And I don't know that he can any quicker than Jensen did, as that gap is beginning to stabilize at 1.8 seconds.
Well, with 9 laps to go, Jacob Jensen doing Jacob Simpson things. Here comes Chad Simpson, still mired back 3 trucks behind Jacob Jensen in that number 64 truck. And I will tell you this right now, if there's one driver that had to be the show, right now in these next 9 laps, Chad Simpson has to be the show.
Going to the inside of Todd Miles as Brian Barnes and Scott Kukas in front of him. And then he will be able to get to Jacob Jensen, but 8 laps to go. Time is running out as they're running almost identical lap times, with Simpson having to deal with the lap trucks around him.
Seven to go. Chad Simpson still trying to get by these last 2 lap trucks. Mike, I just think he's going to run out of time. I really do. I think these lap trucks are really making Chad Simpson work for us. We got 6 laps to go. A half a dozen laps.
Yeah, they're running almost identical times. So it is going to be all Jensen's race to lose at the moment. Take a look back from the 64 Chevy of Jacob Jensen here, and you can just see the gap he has 5 laps to go. Handshake lap is in progress. He's going to be able to get by Scott Kukas here. Drives it in deep. Looks like he will. So now it is nothing between them. He has 4 laps to do it and over a second and a half to make up. And they were within thousandths of a second last time by. See what they are this time as Jensen hits the stripe. He got a 10th that time, so we'll see what he can do here. Jensen's going to have to make a mistake, though, for Chad Simpson to get into it here.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 laps to go. I don't see it happening. As much as I want Chad Simpson to do it, that gap's just too big.
White flag is out for Jacob Jensen, and we are racing back to checkers. 2.5 gap back to Chad Simpson. All Jensen has to do is keep that truck pointed in the right direction, and he will bring home a victory here in the Western States Racing League. He was quick at Lime Rock, got in an instance, didn't quite have what it took to come back from it, but this time tonight, Jacob Jensen wins at Iowa.
What a dominating performance. What about Bentley Glazer? Taking some time off to focus on his Cup car, comes back to the Truck Series and puts it on the podium.
Got Chad Stearns up 19 spots there in that 05 machine. Chris Dumard, after the early incident, came back to get a top 10. Dennis Fuson, Ryan Steele with that pit strategy. Then you have Bob Beltrami with the top 10. But Jacob Jensen's going to burn it down here.
What a run by Jacob Jensen. Just the second half of the race just put on a clinic.
Yeah, that expertly executed pit strategy, caution-free race as usual here from the Western States Racing League, guys. I mean, it's amazing how they get these long green flag runs and how that just plays out in the strategy. So with that, let's see if we can, looks like Bentley's not in here yet. Give him a minute real quick and see, but he's going to make it up here in the booth.
Maybe they got lost?
I mean, he's been away for a little while. But let's see. We'll go ahead and bring up Chad Simpson. I'll get him here in the booth. Hey, Chad, Mike in the booth, man. How's it going?
Hey, I gotcha.
Well, that was a heck of a run, the last part of the race, green flag pit stops. What do you think you could have done maybe a little bit different to get a little closer to Jacob Jensen there?
Well, the undercut was really strong when he stopped. He pulled a big gap, and I think I stopped like 10 laps later. So I was coming pretty fast at the end, and I think I had a chance to get there and make that pass, but we caught a whole lot of danger cars at the end that just kind of slowed me down and kind of ruined it. Maybe if I stopped earlier, things could have gone different, but historically in this league, you know how things go with green flag stops. So I just kind of played a safe race. Lyle and Samard had rough nights, so I was just kind of out there being safe in points racing.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it was a little rough there, and I was talking that if a caution did come out, after everybody gets those fresh rubber there, you were going to be sitting in pretty good position there, staying out as long as you did. But that caution never came out. You still battle back for a P2. Good points day here for you as you turn the page on Iowa and head to the Rock. How are you feeling about that race next week?
That should be interesting. As long as my wheel doesn't shake off of my rig from the bumps and nothing breaks here, that should be fun. I think last time I raced there, I was in VR and got motion sickness. I'm not in VR for this one, so that's not a problem. Hopefully, we can just kind of do the same thing.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats on your P2 finish. Anybody you want to thank before we get you out of here tonight?
And thanks to our sponsor, Serif Secure, CroPro, FBR SimRig Accessories, Creation Studio, LS Engineering, SimMotion, FDT, FR, Satellite Racing, FBR Motorsports, Bob putting on the league, you guys broadcasting, the fan club watching. Thanks to everybody.
Definitely. Well, congrats once again, and we'll see you next week at Rock.
All right, see you there.
And up next for our interview, the winner of the race tonight, Jacob Jensen. Jacob, how's it going?
Going pretty good. That was a fun night.
Yeah, look, man, I mean, if there's anybody that had to be the show, it was going to be you tonight. A couple weeks ago at Lime Rock Park, you looked like the truck to beat and got into that incident early on in that race, but come back tonight here at Iowa, and the second half was just dominating. Take us through that race, and was this race kind of like a redemption race from Lime Rock?
Yeah, kind of a redemption race from Lime Rock. I think I could have done a lot better last week at Pocono too, so it was just nice to finally put it all together. As far as putting the race together, that first run, I made a lot of positions up, and then just tried to get into that clean air in front of Chad, and just never looked back.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we move to the Rock. What is it about these slick tracks that work into your advantage?
I just have, I think, a really good amount of throttle control, just keeping the tires kind of underneath me, but at the same time still being able to get around the track fast.
Awesome. Well, look, man, before we get you out of here, is there anybody that you'd like to thank to help get you here tonight?
I want to thank the dear Lord. I want to thank my dad. I want to thank my Uncle Leonard. I want to thank my friends. I want to thank Bob for putting this lead together. I want to thank you guys for making a good show, and that's it.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on that win, and we'll see you next week at Rockingham.
Thank you very much. Have a nice one.
Yep.
Looks like that's going to do it for our interviews. Bentley Glazer did finish third, but called it a night. So we'll go ahead and go through the race results. Jacob Jensen, Chad Simpson, and Bentley Glazer are the top three. Justin T. Wilkinson and Butch Davis round out that pivotal top five. Chad Stearns, biggest mover of the race, comes home P6, up 19 spots. Then you have Chris Sumard, Dennis Fuson, Ryan Steele, and Bob Beltrami round out the top 10. Lyle Swearingen, Christian Bishop, Wayne Hutchinson, Brian Barnes, and Ron Holyfield are the top 15. Then we got David Weaver, Andy Borica, Scott Kukas, Todd Miles, Dustin Burns, Barry Phil, James Campbell, Keith Kelman, Wayne Fleet, Julian Ricci, the top 25. Dan Brazington, Earl Weaver, and William Fletcher round out the field here tonight. So that will do it from Iowa. As we move forward, we head to the Rockingham, and see what these drivers can do there before taking a off week for the Easter break. Anything you want to say before we get out of here, Alan?
Look, it's been fun here at Iowa. Don't forget, Saturday, April 12th, check this out here. We'll be covering the Lucky 30 from the Highland Speedways, featuring the UMP Dirt Super Late models, UMP Open Wheel Modifieds, Pro Mods, Factory Stocks, and the Kids Mods. It's a good time out there at the world-famous Highland Speedway. Check us out. We'll be there. And you can meet up with yours truly.
Definitely, Matt. Well, as you go there, have a blast. I'll be here broadcasting ECR. But with that being said, from all the drivers of the Western States Racing League and all of us here at Sim Racing Media, I want to wish you guys a good night, and we'll see you next week from Rockingham.